FinallyTV. Remember, don't just dream, inspire. Don't just imagine, create, and just don't believe, achieve. Hello, party people. It is Gabriel back again with another issue of The Voice of the Valley. I have a very special guest here today. So happy to introduce you to. Say your name, sir.
Myael Simpkins.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Gabe.
It's a pleasure having you on the show, for real.
I appreciate that.
This man is a man of many talents, so we're going to run through this as quickly as possible, but stay tuned because you'll miss something if you walk away. He does a lot of things. People, he's very creative, very talented. That's why he's on the show today. So, that said, sir, why are you here today?
I'm here to talk about creativity, artistry, and passion. You know, right here in the Hudson Valley, I've got my hands in a lot of different things, and so I want to share that today with you and your viewers and everybody who's out there looking.
Gotcha. One of my things that I wanted to tell everybody is that you're going to be able to find this gentleman in a lot of different places, and the best place you could go to find him is none other than Google.
Absolutely. Right. But people, they're like, yo, look for me on Facebook, look for me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat. I'm just like, okay, just go to Google, type Myael, and you'll find me.
Yeah, there you go.
There's not a lot of Myaels out there, and I'm happy about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love the name. I love the name, actually. So when did you realize your passion for all this stuff, man?
Honestly, it started very young. I mean, as a small kid, I would always draw. And as a teenager, I would write little bits of music. I'd do some poetry. It just took some time to manifest and grow into what it is today, which is just everything for me.
Gotcha. And so how long would you say you've been pursuing this passion of yours?
I've been pursuing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, at least 10 years. My first paid music thing was like 10 years back.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But in the last 5 years, I've been driving hard the business aspect of it because my business, Transcendental Expressions.
Tell the people.
Transcendental Expressions, not dental. Transcendental Expressions has been around since 2011. Okay. And so since that incarnation, I've been growing from that point. That was like, okay, I'm now a business. I'm going to take all this artistry and creativity and pull it together and bring it to the people. Gotcha.
So this next question, you're going to have a lot to say then. So what have you done to materialize all of this, and how much progress have you really made?
I mean, we've got a couple of my books sitting on the table right here. So, I mean, I've made some good progress.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to plug real quick. First book, Murder, Mystery, Suspense. It's part of a chronicle series, EMANCERIAN Chronicles. And this one's called Signs of the First Emancer. It came out in 2015, around March. And then the soundtrack came out in May. What's really cool about my books is that they have soundtracks, music you listen to while you're reading.
Wow.
Okay, so it brings the reader to a bigger place than just the words on the page. Then I went a step further. I added voice actors, photography, graphic art, and to just stimulate these different senses.
Gotcha.
So you're hearing, you're seeing, and you're reading.
Right.
You've got a lot happening. It's a fusion.
Right.
That's one of my favorite words. Fusion. Yes.
Also, you had referred to yourself as a Renaissance creator.
I got dubbed that a number of years back because of the fact that I write books, I produce music, I perform live piano, guitar, sing, rap, do spoken word poetry, as well as photography, graphic art, and I'm a photographer. I teach music as well, and then I'm an IT specialist.
So in his spare time, he does a job, you know. No, I want to commend you and tell you that the progress that I just see right here, you know, in the physical form is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of focus. That's my other favorite word.
Yeah. Into
doing this, into making it a reality.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that the way you feel that you're a Renaissance creator, you know, the fact that you have a book and then you felt like you needed to back the book with a CD, with music and voice acting and all that stuff. It just really speaks to what you are on the core, right? Like that's
absolutely.
Many people have written books. They don't have a soundtrack for the book. You know what I mean?
That's where I want it to be different. People always get confused with like an audiobook. It's not an audiobook. It accompanies the book. It's a soundtrack. And so with the first one, with the murder mystery, you pop it in the soundtrack first, right? Either on your phone or your computer or whatever, CD player in your car. You hear the voice actors, you hear the music that goes with the characters, and suddenly you're drawn into the world. It's like steering the reader's imagination to begin with. Then you go to the book and you fill in all the gaps. You know, then you get a real true feeling about what I'm trying to express in words as well. And then every so often photography pops in too. So now you get the visual. It's just it's almost stimulus overload. But what I always tell people, if you went to the movies, right, there was no sound, there was no music, there was no voices, what would you do? You fall asleep maybe, or you get up and leave, because as a society we can no longer deal with not having multiple levels of stimuli. Okay, so why not take all those elements of a movie and put it into a book? If you think about it, a lot of people have trouble just starting a book. You know, I myself, I have trouble reading other people's stuff. My own stuff, not so much, but other people's stuff, I have trouble starting it. And I said to myself, what would get me to give something a try before everything else? The answer was music, voices. You know, if you think about the old school radio shows like War of the Worlds, people freaked out on when they heard the whole thing. They thought it was really an alien invasion, but it's because the voice acting was so good and so on. So it brought them into the story. So I kind of did a fusion, there's that word again, of those different things. So almost the voice acting is almost like having a radio show part from the beginning of the book. I didn't want to spoil the mystery though. So you get like teasers into it, little scenes. You're like, wait, what happened? And then the only way to get the answers is to sit there and pick up the book and read it.
Gotcha. And let's not sell it short too, because you have this book, but tell them about this other.
All right. So 2015 was the Murder Mystery Suspense. 2017, I put out my first poetry book, and it as well has a soundtrack. The Poetic Stylings of myself, Myael Simpkins. And this is a long project as well. I didn't even mention that the first book was a 12-year project. All right. I started writing poetry back in like 95. Right. I was the younger side at that point, but I had a lot of passion still bubbling up, and so I started just writing it down, and I got this relief through expressing myself through poetry, and so I kept doing it. You know, here we are 20 plus years later, and here's a physical manifestation of that. And so as I put this together, being my second book, I wanted to also fuse the music, the art, and visuals as well. And so each section of the poetry book is broken down to different emotions. Let's say you're feeling upset. Maybe you want to relate to me when I felt that way, so you'd go to disturbed or distraught. Or if you want to be brought up, maybe you go to optimistic or elevated. Okay, and so in the book, as you go through, I featured a lot of local artists like FinallyTV. Plug in FinallyTV, right? I wanted to give back, so I started picking artists and people that I knew that were doing different things, and I featured them as different emotions in the book. So let's take an example. You go to the inspired section, you see my friend JR. He's a voice actor, right? And so he represents inspired to me because he's always doing awesome creative stuff with voice acting and some stuff like that, right? So and then as you go through, you get a haiku. And then there's 5 poems in each section, so there's 50 poems in the whole book. All right. And then as you go through, there's an evolving graphic art. I'll show you guys real quick there, and we also have it floating on the table here. Evolving graphic art that represents that particular emotion for that section. And so being that there's 10 sections in the book, you get 10 forms of evolving graphic art, 10 featured artists, and then if that wasn't enough, now you on the soundtrack, the music correlates with that emotion too. So you're just brought to this pure, raw, emotional state. If you go to Smitten, you're feeling like how I feel when I'm smitten with music, with art. If you're going to Distraught, you're feeling when I felt distraught. It's a way for my readers to really connect with me in a pure, emotional, raw kind of way, which is very different from the fiction murder mystery. But I wanted to reach different types of audiences. So that's why this was my second incarnation, and I've got a lot more planned. I mean, my end goal, 100 books, 100 soundtracks. And I've already got about 45, 46.
I love that goal. Love that.
Thank you. I've got about 46 books planned out right now. And a lot of them started. So
that's a good segue to tell the people where can they find all this stuff. I mean, they're going to Google you, but is there an online store?
There's a definitely online store. The business is Transcendental Expressions. You can look up that through Square, Transcendental Expressions, or again through all the other social medias. You'll find Transcendental Expressions on Facebook, Tumblr, and all those kind of places too.
And that's where they can purchase this stuff, right?
Yes, and also through me directly. And honestly, I prefer people to buy from me directly, because then I can autograph it, I can tell them about it, I can give them an idea of how to experience the book. You know, you can go on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and you'll find my books. But generally, I should discount it for people when they come through me, because I want them to give it a shot, and I want to give them the full feeling. I want them to understand what it is I'm trying to achieve by fusing, there's that word again, fusing the music, the art, and the writing.
Gotcha.
You know, so
I have to say, despite the fact that I have cue cards in my hand, we left out exactly why you're in the Hudson Valley. How'd you end up here, man?
Okay, well, you know what? I started out being born in like the city, the Bronx, right? And then my family shifted to Long Island, and I got a whole different experience. So we could talk about Long Island for a long time, but we're gonna shift back to Hudson Valley. So then at around like the late '90s, my family moved closer to Albany because my sister was going to med school, and I ended up coming back for my first year of college and being in the Hudson Valley, you know. And I always
it's a nice place to be.
I love it. Absolutely love the Hudson Valley. I will never knock it. But when I first moved here, it was definitely a culture shock compared to Long Island. There wasn't a diner on every corner. The people just have a whole different mindset, which, again, I've grown to love. But at first, I was like, what's going on? The first guy I met was this guy named Jed. He was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, where the heck am I?
Right.
But the Hudson Valley is so up and coming. There's so many different types of people, different type of artistry. It's a fusion.
Yep, yeah.
And so that is why I love it.
Yep. And that's the focus of Finally TV, to get that spotlight on all these talented people, you know, and get them together, and make sure you subscribe, because the Voice of the Valley showcases are coming. It's coming. You know, you had the showcase on Saturday, which was very successful. I want to do something like that, maybe outside.
Yeah.
You know, so
and I'm definitely on board if you want some piano, some guitar, or even some rap. I do a little bit of that too. I have my hands in many pots. So
he told you he's very talented.
So I mean, whatever you guys want, I'll definitely like to be a part of that.
Okay,
so
very good. I'm hoping all the Voice of the Valley alumni will be a part of it, you know, to be honest with you. So cool. We see all of this is culminated into a book. I actually have a CD on here, Piano Music by Myael Simpkins. You know, so you've been putting in work. You've been actually taking your creative thoughts and manifesting them into a physical form.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
What's the inspiration, man? Where's it all coming from?
I mean, family is so big. Okay. All right, and my mom was a teacher at Dutchess Community College for a while, doing oil painting, and my father is like this mathematical, technical type of guy, and it just kind of got fused in my brain. And actually, one of those tests where you're like, are you right or left brain? I'm right down the middle. So I'm like analytical, mathematical, graphical, and then I'm also art and creativity, and I just have a ton of it. Family and inspiration was first, but then like people like Poet Gold and other people that are doing like open mics and stuff like that, and growing in the community also inspire me, you know?
You seem to get a spark too from seeing young creatives coming up.
Absolutely.
Right? That seems to be a thing.
I mentor people. I give them. I run, as you know, many open mics as well. I do DJing.
Right. Let's talk about the open mics, though. Let them know where they are.
Okay, so right now the two main ones are Juan Murphy's, which is every Tuesday, right, 796 Main Street. That's Poughkeepsie. It's a free venue. Usually runs between like 8 and 12, but doors open at 7. And so I do that every week. And then once a month in Newburgh at the Warehouse. That is Poet Gold and me fused together doing that open mic.
Gotcha.
So
okay, just moving along in the interview, what's a favorite activity for you? Because we could talk about being creative all day. We could sit
and I was not even cover it.
Yeah.
But yes, for sure.
But so if we were to move ahead and just say, hey, let's just take, because you don't really work, you're putting in work, but you're not really working because you're loving what you do. You know, so aside from all this stuff, you know,
all that aside,
yeah, what are you doing for an activity? I
mean, I'm a big movie buff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I love sci-fi. I mean, part of the reason that I wrote Murder Mystery is because I love mysteries and science fiction and action and those kind of things. So I'm a bit of a collector of movies, of music and that kind of thing. So you'll, like, for instance, I just saw the new Avengers movie yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was real excited about that. So that's like a lot of my downtime is movies and music and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So just like not only my own stuff, but like other people's stuff. I listen.
Gotcha. I'm a foodie, man.
Oh yeah, me too.
I love to eat.
I can eat for days.
You know, what's a go-to plate of food for Myael Simpkins?
I mean, we were talking about it before. I love every type of food. I've done some international traveling, which I didn't really mention before, but I love Japanese. I love Thai, Italian, everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Chicken tikka, Indian food. I love Indian food. So I mean, chicken tikka, that's my. I have cravings for that. You know what I mean?
That's the one you're going to.
That's one of the biggest ones. I love red curry, sushi.
No, sushi's a good one.
I'll get that maki combo.
Yeah,
and then I'm good. I'll have like 18 pieces of sushi. Like nothing.
He's making me hungry, everybody.
Oh my gosh. I keep going. We got to be careful. Start talking about food. I have special places that I like to go for certain types of things.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Speaking about places, what's a favorite place for you to go to feel tranquil, maybe creative?
I mean, I love the Adrian's Library in Poughkeepsie. I'll go there. Actually, they do the first Fridays, and I perform there too. Oh, okay. But like when I want to like create, libraries are a good place to like kind of just think and not be distracted, not worry about what other people are doing. Right. I mean, sometimes I do the Panera, you know, or the Barnes and Noble, but there's a lot of activity going on, right. And so not so much as like a nice quiet spot. But then again, I also have where I live too. I'm a single guy living at home alone, right. So I can have that. I have my man cave, and I can just do what I do even at home.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We talked a little bit about pet peeves and advice before, a little earlier. So what is a line of advice that Myael Simpkins is living by nowadays?
Living by? Okay, because I was going to throw pet peeves. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I had one for that. but you know, there are a lot of people that inspire me, a lot of speakers in the world. But Gandhi said that we can move the world in small ways. We can make a big difference, but in small ways. And so I always think about, like, even though I may not be done with my book, like my third book right this moment, it's coming. Right. And then I'm doing small movements to get to it. You know what I mean? And so for people out there that want to be on stage, that want to perform, start small. Inch your way there. That's why I run the open mics. I help to bring artists up to kind of, you know, train them and then kind of focus them and get them to the level they want to be at. You know what I mean? And everyone needs development time. That's the word I was looking for. Development time. And so if you make small movements, you'll get there. Write it down. Keep focused on it, and it will happen.
And here's a bit of advice for all the young performers out there doing an open mic or a little showcase or something like that. Don't lip sync.
Oh, that was gonna be my pet peeve.
Yeah. Don't.
You totally.
Don't lip sync.
You totally said it was in my head. I was thinking the people that put the music on and their own voices singing the whole track.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand layering it and getting emphasis on certain things, or knowing where you're running out of breath, so you got to throw something. I get that. Don't rap over your own track.
Absolutely.
You know,
show the skill.
Yeah. If people practice it. You're at an open mic. You're at a showcase. You know, practice your breath control. Practice your stage performance. You know.
Absolutely.
That's the one piece of advice I would give to any performer. You know, singer. You know, especially a singer, because then you just come off fake. You know, but rappers too. Is you gotta perform it. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to show that you're the best out there, it's not by lip syncing.
Right.
It's not by like just remembering parts of your own song. You got to know it.
Yeah.
You know, before you bring it out. Yeah, own it. That's a big word.
Own it.
You got to bring it. When you're gonna bring it out, bring it out.
Yeah.
Show them you can. You know, you can put that sound out on the microphone,
right.
Not just have it playing in the background and then every song, right. You know, you need more than that, you know?
Yeah, or don't layer your voice so much on your vocals that it's not your vocal anymore. You know, if you're auto-tuning it so crazy, but you don't have auto-tune capability on stage.
Yeah, it's going to sound completely different. It's gonna change the whole game.
Just a little word.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, I mean, honestly, over the years, I've seen a lot of that, and I always will take them aside and be like, listen, okay, I know you're out there, you're doing your stuff, but you need to do X, Y, and Z to just kind of like, you know, make it more powerful. One artist very recently came to the open mic, and he was very low spoken, but he had some good flow, but he wasn't being heard. And I'm like, listen, I want to hear you. You know, and I said it in such a way that would bring him up. Not like slap him down. No, you're not good. No, it wasn't about that. It was about like, hey, you know what? If you want people to hear you, make yourself heard.
Right.
That's my quote. If you
Right.
want people to hear you, make yourself heard.
That's great. Myael Simpkins. I'm going to trademark it. We'll both own it. So speaking about performances and being on stage and all that good stuff, we spoke a little earlier. You're going to have 2 instances to speak of. But the first one, since we're on the topic, you know, during all this time of putting all this work in and doing stuff, have you been made to feel like a star or famous at one point where you feel like, oh, I made it?
Do you want me to go with the writing one first, or the music one first?
Let's do music.
Because let me tell you, I feel like I've made it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, success is a mindset, not based on money or how many things you can talk about, and it's your mind. I feel very successful, you know, and what I've been accomplishing, what I will accomplish, and I'm gonna keep pushing. But music-wise, you know, when I used to be with the 845 band, Pull a Gold, we opened up for Lauryn Hill, and that was a big deal. We took a trip to Rhode Island, and we were on stage, and I was like almost as close to you as Lauryn Hill, and you know, just being amongst all those people who like really were out there doing big stuff, and here I was right there standing in the VIP areas, and just kind of like part of that whole scene. It was very big.
Yeah, tell people, where was that?
It was Martha's Vineyard, actually. It was a couple years back. If you were to go look up online, Paul Gold, an 845 band, I was doing keys for her at that point, and she was doing the poetry thing, and it was just a really huge big event, and I loved it.
The name of the event was
MV Summer Madness.
MV Summer Madness.
Yes.
That's really cool, man. I like that. So segueing into another time, you know, being an author is a little different than being a performer, right?
And you know, when your artistry is out there, if you think about a painter, like, you know, you have a painting back there, right? You think about a painter when you go to a gallery, there it is. You know what I mean? For me, with the book, this is like my art and my writing and my music all out there. And so when this book it came to me, I was physically able to be like, this is my book. You know, that was a huge feeling for me. And then as it started to blow up and explode, I'd go into rooms around Dutchess County, right? And then people would own my book in that room, maybe 3 to 5 people. Yeah. And they'd be like, oh gosh, you know, there's some readers over there. And people start to look at me a little differently, you know, especially since it's murder, mystery, suspense. They're like, holy cow, you wrote that crazy stuff. Right, but like, but just being able to say, okay, there's a person that owns my book. There's a person that owns my book. You know, there's a person that knows who I am based on my creativity. Felt huge for me, and it's kind of a drug and addiction, like performing. You know, when I get up on stage with my guitar or piano, it's this thrill that fills you. You know, and that's true success. Like being able to feel that all the time. Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. I just want to, you know, congratulate you on everything you're doing, and basically, you know, what you're doing and what you will do. You know, because I can already see it. I can't see the future, but I can see it here. Like something's gonna pop off and be good.
100 books, 100 soundtracks. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I believe he's gonna get there. I really do.
You'd be surprised what I've got going on right now, even as we're speaking. I don't waste a lot of time. You know, people, you know, they have the regular mundane, like go to work, come home, go to work, come home, eat. You know, I'm like, okay, go to work. Think about how many words I want to write today. Come home, think about how many words I want to write today. When is this event happening? How am I going to be involved? What am I going to do for this and that event? I mean, this past week alone, I had 3 DJing and event, 4 actually, that I was involved in. The week before that was 5, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I average about 150 to 170 performances a year.
Oh, wow, okay. So you're busy.
A little.
You're a little busy.
A little bit.
Well, what I've been getting a habit of on the show is, it's kind of a page from the Nori show, Drink Champs, on YouTube. Shout out Nori. But his thing is appreciating the talent while they're alive, to feel
absolutely, absolutely. You know,
so, what I'd like to say is I appreciate you.
Thank you,
know,
Gabe.
I haven't read the books yet. I'm not a big reader, you know.
That's why there's a soundtrack.
You know, but he's enticing me to read that book. You know, I'm probably going to make him leave it here. You know, but that's a true statement, though. You know, like, now I'm intrigued. Like, what did this kid write, man? You know, like, I don't mean to say kid. What did this man write? You know, it's like,
that's all right.
You know? But yeah, you're an aspiring individual. So I hope these people out there should be one or two that'll hear you and see your story and hearing you talk about it. And hopefully they go, yeah, why am I just going to work and coming home and eating and going to sleep?
I hate when people say same different day, you know, trying to watch my language. But like, you know, I am never the same thing every day. I'm trying to be different. You know, I've got tons of events coming up. I'm trying something. This next Saturday coming up is a Beltane festival. I've never been to anything like it, but I'm promoting my books there, you know. And then last weekend I was at the Comic-Con, you know what I mean? And then this past Saturday, the day before yesterday, I was at the artist promo part, and I'm always changing it up so that I'm reaching different people, networking with new people, you know, people like Leilani and Rachel Hendricks, and shout out to those guys. I gotta give a shout out. Can I give a couple of shots out real quick? Because on the soundtrack, we've got Leilani Martinez, Archer Chapathi, and Smash, who was on the show, right? But there was also a music video, which I didn't even talk to you about at all.
Mistake to be on your own. What's that noise that you hear beside you? Feel that fear creep up inside you. Is that a pain in the back of your head? I bet you wish you stayed home instead, 'cause now your time is up and God is going to make you dead. You try to run, but that's no plan. You swear that you can feel his hands. Wish you wake up from this dream. The terror is going to make you scream.
But in the music video for the murder mystery suspense book, Leilani Martinez, Archer Chapathi, Rachel Hendricks was in it, Charlie Hanayo, and a couple others. So like, I just want to shout out all the people that were part of this, this first project and book 2, which I hit 83,000 words today. Right before I came on your show, I hit 83,000 words. I'm gonna need some more voice actors, some more actors. There's gonna be another music video. There's gonna be a lot happening. So the soundtrack too. Yeah,
okay, perfect. So with that said, man, tell the people exactly where they can find you, where you want them to go.
I want you guys just to go to Google, make life easy. Myael, Myael. If you forget how to say it, think of Ishmael minus the ish. Think of Michael, drop the ICH, add a Y, Myael, right? And then once you do that, just put books, soundtracks, music. You're gonna find me under a lot of different places. The first book, EMANCERIAN Chronicles, Signs of the First Emancer. The second book, The Poetic Stylings of Myael Simpkins, that's me. There's so much content that I put out there. I've got the online store where people can also do music lessons with me, music production, graphic art. If you need posters and design, I do a lot of different things. We could have a couple of parts.
We're gonna put a list up. I'll just put a list up.
Yeah, and so if once you find me, you can connect whatever it is you need, or in a creative aspect, creative solutions. That's Transcendental Expressions. That's another thing you can look up. Transcendental Expressions, 2 words. You can find my business, and you'll find stuff that. That as well.
And if they want to use you for a DJ, just same thing. Look
yeah,
just reach out.
Yeah, I do. It's all under the umbrella of Transcendental Expressions.
Okay, perfect. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Gabe.
You know,
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, he'll be back, I'm sure, because you do too many things to not be back and talk.
I would love to do part 2, especially when I am like this close to book 3 being out, and so when that hits, I want to be able to talk about that everywhere.
I want to be on the promo run. I want my show to be the promo on the promo run for that.
All right,
you know,
all right. Well,
I'm here for that.
All right, I'm down with that for sure.
Good. Party people, that is the show for today. It is Gabriel, he's Myael. This is Finally TV, it's Voice of the Valley. Subscribe.
Finally TV.
Subscribe, party people, let's go.
All right.